3 Nigeria Info broadcasting live from Etim Inyang Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Sharif Quadri. Good morning to you, Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you for always tuning in. 6 minutes going on 7 past the hour 8 on a Tuesday like this. Let's have you know that our conversation this morning is in two parts. The first part is where we get to hear from the police what happened in some parts of Lagos yesterday rather. The second part is where we get to talk about police funding based on what IGP Alkali Baba said while appearing before the House Committee concerning funding. Funding is everything, like it is everything, absolutely and completely everything when it comes to security. It's very, very expensive. As it stands today, the police get support from state governors. With all kinds of supports that the police get from state governors. In fact, in some states, the governors have been saying that they've been the ones funding the police in their respective states. How far could these have impacted the activities and, of course, the effectiveness of the police in our states? That is a very valid question that very few people are concerned about. But let's start with that as we await the PRO of the Lagos Police Command, Muyiwa Adejobi, to join us. He's here to join us. Once he joins us, we'll talk to him about the event that happened at Iyana and in Lekki yesterday. But in the meantime, let's have Mr. Okechukwu Nwaguma, who is, of course, the National Coordinator of Police Reforms in Nigeria, joins us via the telephone this morning. Mr. Nwaguma, a very lovely morning to you. Thank you for joining us on this conversation today.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's been a minute. It's been a while we heard from you, sir.
Yeah, every day, each day we wake up and we're alive. We thank God. Nigeria has become a killing field.
Let's delve into it right off, Mr. Nwaguma. You have been at the forefront of police reforms in Nigeria. You've championed this even to the federal level. Tell me exactly, what is the state of your campaign so far in terms of driving that conversation of police reforms? Where are we right now? Because the reason I'm asking these questions is I know quite a number of people like you who've given up, who actually don't even know where to begin anymore, because the conversation seems to have developed from police reforms to state police. What is your own position on this?
Well, the situation in Nigeria today, has never been as it is today. If there's anything that tells us that things are getting worse, it is the fact that the security agencies, the police in particular, who are supposed to protect the rest of us, have themselves become targets, and they're not even able to defend themselves from incessant attacks.
Very, very sad.
Across the country. So it tells you the level of preparedness by the police to effectively discharge their basic functions, in spite of the efforts, in spite of the campaign, to adequately fund and equip the police. Nothing much has happened.
Mr. Nwaguma, please hold your thought. I want to quickly speak with the PRO of police in Lagos, Muyiwa Adejobi, who joins us right now. We'll speak to him as to what happened yesterday in Lagos. Mr. Muyiwa, thank you so much for granting us your time this morning. I know it's been quite a week for you, or some weeks for you and the Lagos Police Force. But tell us exactly what happened at Iyana. Let's start with Iyana. What exactly transpired there yesterday?
Good morning. Good morning, Lagosians. Good morning, everybody. My name is Muyiwa Adejobi. I speak for the police in Lagos. Well, yesterday, some Okada riders they had issues with their mother transport unions. That is, the mother transport unions, they are the major, either NURTW or roads. They control Okada operations in Lagos.
Okay.
So there was an increment in tariff for them. I think from 100 naira to 400 naira. And this didn't go well with them. So they came out to a sort of, I would say protest, but they came out to show their grievances against the decision of the mother unions. So they came out, and immediately we noticed this. were there to suppress the agitation so that the thing will not go. It was quite unfortunate that our people wanted to turn it to ethnic clash. And the rumor was everywhere that Yoruba versus Hausa, and immediately we came out because issues like that are very, very, very sensitive.
That's right.
Our brothers in the north will not go and face what you are facing on any brother here. There's no ethnic coloration at all whatsoever. It's just purely Okada, and it's between Okada riders, not between Okada riders and another group of Okada riders. No, it's just Okada riders versus the mother unions that control the activities, increasing the fee, getting problem, and that is just situation. But our people started raising unnecessary alarm, giving wrong information, and being mischievous about the incident. So there's no ethnic clash yesterday. It's just purely transport union palaver, and we were able to suppress that. We are still on because the Commissioner of Police Lagos State, Akim Udumus, was the area commander to look for the leaders of this warring groups.
Right.
So that we'll start police actions from there and see what we can do about it.
You know, Mr. Muyiwa, what got a lot of people disturbed yesterday was the fact that these riders, I don't know if we should use rider for them or hoodlums, they started attacking personal properties of people. I don't know if you saw the video. I saw a video of where they were attacking very close to Lasu Gate, cars parked in front of the school and all of that. What do we call that?
Well, I don't want to base my discussion on behalf of the command on the video, the viral videos. I expect the area commander to forward the report to the office of the Commissioner of Police. So when we see the report, so that we will not go and have misperception about the whole issue. Basically, you can't decide or you can't base your judgment on what you see on social media. It could be dangerous.
That's right.
My experience so far.
That's right.
But the fact is, let the area commander who was dispatched to that place, who was supposed to be on ground, of course, based on the directive of the Commissioner of Police, should be able to give us the accurate account of what actually happened, whether there are damages and the likes. So let's wait for him. I'm sure the command is still coming up with another statement on that, because definitely we are going to look into it so that we address the issues, because I'm sure we're going to have complaints from members of the public. If there was attacks, people will come up to lodge complaints, and from there we are going to start our own investigation. So don't let us preempt what will come from there. Let's wait for the report of the area commander. That's area commander area Festac, who controls the whole area from Iyana, Alaba, Rago, Ojo. Even Festac, he has more than 9 or 10 divisions under him. So we are on it. We go to work on the black and white report from the office of the area commander.
Would you say it's safe now for residents of that area to go about their normal activities?
No, it's very safe. We have our men there, and we are keeping them at bay, the hoodlums or the so-called boys, because that's why we always don't want people to come out to do any sort of protest in Lagos. Any slightest demonstration protest like this, even with your genuine intention, to be attacked by these boys, because these boys are always everywhere to look for what to capitalize on and cause problems. Even the Okada rider had genuine protests just to show grievances. I wouldn't know if it is true that there were property destroyed. Why must we go and destroy people's property? If you have the grievance against somebody, you must have your target, face your target, and deal with your target. And that's why we don't want protests in Lagos, because innocent people are always going to receive the largest portion of the blow if there's any slightest protest in Lagos. Like what happened yesterday.
Were you informed before the protest? Was the police informed before the protest yesterday?
Sorry to say, kind of people, would they even inform anybody? Did they even know anything about procedure? It's just quite unfortunate. Well, it just came up, and we were in a meeting yesterday discussing the threat analysis in Lagos generally, and somebody somebody just called our control room that go to your number, that's a problem. And we started monitoring from there. From your number, the thing extended to Alabarago. Alabarago to Ilembe Awusa. And again, they said they are not in Ojo, last, the thing started spreading like a matan fire up and down. So it's always like that in Lagos. Any slightest thing is going to be a spontaneous reaction, and we are always mindful of this. So we have enough men in this transit monitoring, and the leaders of these concerned or warring parties will be summoned so that we can start our police action from there.
Right, indeed. Now let's come to Lekki. What can you tell us about what happened in Lekki yesterday?
Lekki is just an act of lawlessness because our local government, particularly Lekki, falls under those restricted areas where the Lagos state government has banned Okada operations. And there are laws in the land. It's just to enforce that Okadas must not operate in this. So the police and the task force, Lagos State Task Force, always go around to arrest, to contravene some of these Okada riders.
Right.
And even yesterday, the police men from Morocco division are not even going on operation to arrest on Okada or to contravene any Okada. But because of their various previous activities of arresting, contravening them,
right,
immediately they cited them, they threw caution to the wind and started attacking the police. And immediately the DPO called for reinforcement. We went to the police and we gave them very hot cheese. We neutralized the violent activities of the Okada riders in that place. We were able to arrest some of them, and we contravened about 31 Okadas. And we will not allow any act of lawlessness in any part of the country. The Lagos State Transport Sector Reform Law of 2018 has stated how we operate, how we do transport business in Lagos.
Right.
It's just for us to have lawlessness, maintenance of law and order across the length and breadth of Lagos State. And the police, we don't make laws. We only enforce the law.
That's right.
So any law being passed to us, any bill passed to law, any legislation, any act will be duly enforced in Lagos State. And that is just the truth. I will not allow any lawlessness. We continue to arrest if they violate, but we do it within the ambit of the law.
Was any of your men hurt yesterday?
No, not at all. Not at all. I sent out a release yesterday to debunk. That was a video.
Okay.
That was a video that went viral yesterday.
Okay.
Somebody was raising alarm. They're attacking police. They are doing this. They did not attack police in Lekki.
Okay.
They did not. They didn't attack police in Lekki. They did not. The guy just did this video. In fact, we are going to trace the originator of the video because it's high time we started nipping certain things in the board. Because somebody tomorrow will just raise another alarm again that they have killed so person, they have done this. That is a big lie. Not a single police was attacked in Lekki Phase 1 toll gate yesterday. No.
Indeed. Before I let you go, I always like to say this. So people calling to the show complain of one security situation or another in different parts of the state. They don't know who to call at any point in time. Can you give some light to that as to what to do in case of any security breach anywhere in the state?
My normal tradition is to always rule out certain numbers when I speak like this. The Lagos State Command is having four control rooms. But the major one, let me just quickly get this. Yes, I want to give out the numbers of our major control rooms.
Right.
That's where you see human beings operating 24 hours. If I give my number as a human being, maybe it's 3, 4 a.m., you call me, I miss your call.
You are not human being now. Are you human being?
I'm a human being. I'm a complete homo sapien. Yes, I'm a bipedalism animal, so I'm a human being like any other person.
Well, in your control room, we have more human beings there working 24/7.
Who are, their duties are to respond to issues and man these control rooms 24 hours. So the first one is 080 65 15 4338. 0065 15 4338. Then another one is 00 39 34 0039344870. They can get across to us 24 hours. We're going to respond to them. People should always get across to the police and inform us. If there's any incident in your place, you don't report to the police. You're affecting our statistical analysis of incidences in Lagos State, and it's going to affect our judgment. If somebody is slapped in Adejobi fellow Duazis,
right,
it's not recorded, we believe that people are not harassed in the street. That one is okay. We believe it's okay. But if about 10 people are assaulted and we have record of assault of 10, we definitely know that something is coming up. It's a warning signal, because if people are in the street and they are walking and somebody is slapping them.
Mm-hmm.
So which means something is wrong. Like the case somebody gave us to us yesterday, that the guy will always come out at 7 up in the Keja here. 7 up, we always attack towards Ojota, we always come, break whiskey. Only him, not group. Who come attack a vehicle and run into the bush. So we have about four incidences against this particular person. A Nigerian, a Lagosian just send the message to us that come, this boy that is coming one man solo. A time is coming, he's going to mobilize more, and that place will not be okay for them. And we have been working on this guy, and we're going to get him. So people should always endeavor. It's a civil responsibility.
Yeah.
Let us try and give information to us. It's not the way it used to be. We give information to us. I'm very sure you are not going to be, your identity will not be revealed, and I can assure you of your safety at this level. At this level, everybody is on his toes to make sure we don't experience what we are experiencing in other parts of the country. We must fortify Lagos, and it's a collective responsibility.
Mr. Muyiwa Adejobi, thank you so much for joining us on the Crossfire today.
Thank you, Jerry.
Always a pleasure. The police PRO in Lagos, Muyiwa Adejobi, speaking to us there. We'll take a very quick breather. Mr. Okechukwu, Nwaguma is still here, and we'll step up our conversation right now. Still on police, but police funding. Let's take a quick, short breather. We'll be right back with more conversation on the Crossfire this morning.
The only station that puts you first.
Security apparatus that we have, they are not only ghosts. They cannot be everywhere at the same time. Let every Nigerian be the first responder to whatever crime that is being perpetrated towards them.
You see, if government is doing exportation, I know that nobody is going to frustrate them. And they will create job for people, but they're just sitting down, they're waiting for money to be shared.
The number one station for talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
The best of talk on the station for talk.
Nobody should just give up their life like a chicken. Will the police have the ability to resurrect me when I am dead?
The problem we have in Lagos is a sense of entitlement to things of the state by certain individuals who believe that whether you like it or not, it belongs to them and their family.
Your number one station for talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Get breaking news, updates, and the best of talk.
Women have to work twice, even thrice as hard for them to get things that just come so naturally to a lot of men who feel that leadership is their right.
We're in prisons for how many years?
For 6 years, 8 months.
Were you going to court from prisons then?
Yes, but before I started court, it took me 2 years.
Just being in prison?
Yes.
Without your case even start at all?
Confinement.
You were there?
Yeah.
Here on your number one station for talk, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
A multinational company in Lekki, Lagos is massively recruiting independent sales executives that own a car and a valid driver's license. Are you ready to work with the company with the most history worldwide? Are you ambitious, a smart worker? Do you have a great attitude? Ready to take your career to the next level? Here is an opportunity for you. Please call 0815-705-0505 or 0905-637-4258 to book for an interview.
Before now, getting a good HMO that works perfectly for my staff was a lot of hassle. Many HMOs come with cumbersome registration. It gets worse when my staff come back to complain about the terrible service they get from these HMOs. I decided to give Reliance HMO a try based on glowing recommendations I received from my HR colleagues, and I was not disappointed. I was able to register all 100 staff in 5 minutes. I have access to a 24-hour responsive helpline and an account manager that helps me with any issue. My staff raves about the premium service they receive from Reliance HMO. They especially love the access to gym, spa, dental care, and the hospital roaming. I no longer worry myself about issues concerning HMO. Reliance HMO does that for me. I will recommend them any day.
Visit reliancehmo.com/corporate or call 0700-7354-2623 to get a quote for your company and start enjoying reliable healthcare today. Reliance HMO. You can rely on us.
Imagine a life with zero worries. Imagine a world where you're relaxed and free, where all your dreams become reality, and all you need is within your reach. Be more, grow more with Page Financials. No stress when it's time to pay.
Page Financials have zero worries when it's time to pay your bills, rent, school fees, and vacation. We'll be here making it easy for you.
Visit our website www.pagefinancials.com or call 017007243. Page Financials, taking you further.
Mama Shade, this your pikin no well. You take her go hospital now.
My sister, na big money be that too.
Which big money? You never hear about LSHS Ilera Eko?
Ilera Eko? Wetin be that?
Lagos Health is our wealth. Ilera Eko.
Now, true, Lagos State Health Management Agency, LASHMA, don't bring correct healthcare plan. Where makes sense for your automat. Enjoy supply healthcare. Where your hand feel rich. This one, now for everybody where they live inside Lagos State. They call them a Ilera Eko. Whether you be civil servant, small private business owner, trade professional, or even market man or woman. So far you they live inside Lagos. This better now for you.
Make you register with Ilera Eko branded agents or outlets where you see Ilera Eko logo.
Pay 40,000 naira every year for family package or 8,500 naira every year for one person. Make you begin enjoy cool mind. For more information, call 0700 Ilera Eko or 0800 Ask Lashma or make you visit www.lashma.com.
Lagos Health is our way.
Come, you don't put yeast for bread before? The dough go just the rise. They rise like 5,000 naira when you put for EcoBank. Before you know, if it become 25,000 naira.
Oga Baker!
Hi! Now so EcoBank customers just they dance a willow as EcoBank Super Rewards don't begin boku their money falla. Save 5,000 naira for your EcoBank account for 30 days or open new EcoBank account with 5,000 naira deposit and you fit be one of the 50 people who go collect 25,000 naira a woof every week for 4 months. 4 people go win 1 million naira grand prize each. Collect EcoBank card for your account and link your card to *326# or EcoBank mobile to increase your assurance. Terms and conditions apply. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
It starts with great odds that only gets bigger. A game with the right shots on targets. A payout that is maxed with the best bonus offer. There are more ways to win on BetKing. Join today and claim 100% welcome bonus. Don't miss your shots. Visit betking.com to sign up today. BetKing, playground for kings.
Charles!
Yes, mommy?
Go and bring 2 sachets of hypo bleach for me.
Why 2?
Because I'm using one to soak the whites and using one to kill all the germs.
But I can't see any germs here.
They are so tiny you can't see them. But they are there. And that is why I trust only hypo bleach to kill them all.
Make your white fabrics whiter and your household free of illness causing germs and viruses with the disinfecting power of hypo bleach.
Are you Africa's next leading entrepreneur? Do you have vision and passion? Are you a change maker? Then the 2021 Africa's Business Heroes competition is for you. You'll receive invaluable training and mentorship. Join a community of incredible minds. Get a chance to pitch your business and win a share of $1.5 million. For more, visit our website, africasbusinessheroes.org.
Now we're back on the Morning Crossfire.
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
And we're back on the show. 8:30 is the time for my studios this Tuesday morning. I am Sheriff Quadri. This is the Morning Crossfire here on Nigeria Info's breakfast, current affairs and news show. I have Mr. Okechukwu Nwaguma on the line. He joined us first this morning. Now let's continue with our conversation. Mr. Nwaguma, thank you for granting us that permission to speak with the police PRO in Lagos on that urgent conversation. Now let's continue with our conversation. We were talking about the issue of police reforms and how the conversation, has grown into, so many layers. What's your thought concerning state police first?
Well, the first point to make is that the Constitution, there has been, recent developments in the country. The fact that the police have not been able to effectively deal with insecurity has led to calls for state policing, and this is what happens each time, we find ourselves in this kind of situation. But of course, that the Constitution states that there shall be only one Nigerian police force, and
that's right.
For any state to have a state police, as strictly speaking, there has to be a constitutional amendment. But of course, that in many states we have a lot of organizations carrying out law enforcement duties.
That's right.
So if you ask me, I think we're already operating state police, except that it has not become formalized. But I think that the calls are informed by the clear fact that the Nigerian police, as presently constituted, need to decentralize policing. The Nigerian police is so centralized that it's not able to effectively deal with insecurity. So I think that is why calls are being, and also if you look at the fact that communities and states and even regions in the country are beginning to resort to self-help by way of creating vigilante groups, regional networks on security. That's shows the compelling need for decentralizing policing. And I think that is why these calls are being made.
Let me talk to you about funding. The IGP, acting IGP, Alkali Baba, was at the House of Reps the other day, and I rarely hear any IGP come to the public, especially to cry and for help and all of those things. But he did it. And he said to the reps members that police is in dire need of proper funding. He said that security is not cheap, it's very expensive, that if we want the police to function effectively in Nigeria, we need to be ready to putting a lot of resources into the police force. As it stands today, me, you, everyone that is close to the police, that at least know one thing or the other about the police, that police in this country, they are not well funded. But then let's start from what made the IGP, acting IGP, come out to cry for help. What does that signal to you?
Well, I think that the situation has become so dire, that this is not the first time IGP would make that call. Between 2018 and 2020, during each budget defense by successive IGPs,
right?
At the House of Reps, or it has always been the same, cry about poor funding, the funding to the police, and as a matter of fact, inadequate funding has remained the single most, serious obstacle against police effectiveness. Funding is critical to a lot of things. It's critical to police recruitment. It's critical to police equipment. It's critical to police training and retraining. It's critical to investigation. It's critical even to police welfare. And in the absence of adequate funding, the police simply cannot, do anything. And this was the reason why two years ago, a police trust fund was set up. And because it became clear that government's budget for the police represents mere contribution than any serious attempts to fund the police. State governments, corporate entities, and individuals have remained the lifeline for the police over the years. And so that gap in funding was, the attempt to fill it was the creation of the Security Police Trust Fund 2 years ago. And 2 years after, we are not asking questions what has happened to this trust fund, because I know that under the act setting up the trust fund, the fund is supposed to get, contributions in percentages from the federal government, from profits by corporate entities.
That's right.
It also got what is it called now? Some fund to kick off. Now, 2 years after the trust fund, we haven't seen any change in terms of funding and the operational effectiveness of the police, and we're not asking questions. How much has the trust fund received? How much has it disbursed? Why haven't we seen any change in police, operations in spite of the trust fund? So truly, the IG ought to have made that, call, because his predecessors had also said the same thing during budget defense, police budget defense. The government has not. Clearly, the federal government cannot, fund the police. That's
clearly.
So we need to begin to also ask questions about what the trust fund is doing. The state, the corporate entities are also Lagos State benefits from the Lagos State, trust fund. That is why it seems that compared with other states, in terms of ability to respond, in terms of equipment, it seems to be ahead of others, even though it is still not what we want to see.
Right. Now, I want to talk to you a bit further about the issue of training and retraining of police officers, because it's been said over and over again. You mentioned it in passing about how the trust fund that was established on the national level can help in that regard. But looking at the structure, the current structure of the police that we have, a lot of people have complained about the state of the police training colleges that we have. There was an outcry some months ago about the state of, police college that we have, and then something seemed to have been done about it. Do you think that there is enough being done currently right now? Yes, there is paucity of fund. We know that. But is there anything concrete? Because you are in this space. That's why I'm asking you that question. Being done in training and retraining of the Nigerian police force?
Police training is the greatest victim of police. When we talk about neglect, the police has been neglected over the years, but the police training is an aspect of the police that has been the worst victim. As a matter of fact, when people are posted to the police college, they see it more like a punitive posting, because nothing happens there. Years after Channel Television exposed the decrepit state of the Ikeja Police Training College, nothing has fundamentally changed. And when you look at the environment where police officers are trained, you will not need to go far to ask why they behave the way they behave, because they are subjected to indignity. They are treated like people who are serving prison terms. Even people serving prison terms ought not to be treated the way police officers in training are treated. So the state of training institutions is so dilapidated that nothing good can come out of them unless they are rehabilitated. And then, apart from rehabilitating the structures, also, reviewing the training curriculum. What is the content of the police training curriculum? So a lot needs to be done, because training. And by the way, as I mentioned, the police trust fund, one of the reasons for setting it up is to provide funds for police equipment and training and retraining. So we expect that the trust fund should contribute to efforts to rehabilitate the training institutions and also, review the training the content of the training curriculum in Nigeria, so that the training will be in a position to, raise officers who are professional and competent. And so training is key. But of course, again, everything comes back to funding, and political commitment to police reform is the challenge. We have the police the new Police Act was signed into law by the president in 2020, today there's no evidence that efforts are being made to implement that Police Act. What we see, or rather, is an attempt to subvert that law by the way the president has even begun to act contrary to the stipulations of the Police Act.
Right. Mr. Nwaguma, I would be taking some reactions right now, but before I go to the telephone, because I still need you here for a few more minutes, before we go and take reactions over the telephone, let me put this question to you. You know, we mentioned state policing on why there is now time to decentralize the police force to make sure that the states take ownership of the police force in their respective states. I know that the structure will probably have a federal police on the side as well, and then we now have state police and all of that. So this is where I'm going with all of this. Right now, some states still cannot afford to pay their workers, their civil servants. Is this appropriate at this point in time to now say that we want to have state police? Do you think it will change the fortune of the Nigerian police?
I think that the problem is that Nigeria has remained over the years dependent on oil as its main, source of revenue. The dependence on oil and the fact that every month states go to Abuja and share, money from the federation account has made states to fail to look inwards. And that is why a lot of people are praying that this oil should dry up, so that states will begin to look at the resources available in their states and begin to exploit them. By the way, before we discovered oil in this country, this country was dependent on agriculture. Michael Okpara developed the Southeast, squarely from resources generated from agriculture.
Right.
So I think the thing is that every state in this country has the capacity to generate revenue outside the oil, and unless this oil dries up, and unless we begin to look inwards, then we'll continue to depend on this oil that one day dry. That is, I think that there's no state that is not, viable. It's just because our politicians are lazy. They're not thinking. They're not creative. They're only waiting for the end of the month. They'll go to Abuja and share money. That is why it is so. But if we look inwards, I'm sure that every state can generate revenue that will enable them, deal with security and other things.
Indeed. Now let's go to that telephone and take some calls before we continue with our conversation. A show joining us right now. Welcome. We're talking about police funding and its effect and impact on police deliverables to us, of course, and to the nation at large. The numbers to call 0700 993 993 993 and 01 465 7190. That is for the female callers only. 01 465 7190. Mr. Okechukwu Nwaguma is joining us on the show this morning. We've been talking. He's a national coordinator of police reforms in Nigeria, and he's done quite a lot in terms of advocacies concerning police reform. Ademola is joining us this morning. First, we'll speak with Ademola, then we'll move on to our next call. Good morning to you, Ademola.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Yeah, I like what your station is doing. Thank you very much. But I want to ask a question from Oga Police there. All this funding that government has been giving them years back, because of all this explanation about the tabulated building, training, what are they channeled for? I think this is supposed to be a segment, and police that hide them, the money comes to them, supposed to have somewhere to go for them to rehabilitate and do better things.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you too, Ademola. Mr. Nwaguma, this is asking for accountability. Like, so the things that the monies that they've been, allocated in time past, who is asking for accountability from the police?
No, I mean, that is a valid question. Whereas we admit that police budget has been grossly inadequate. But questions also arise as to the little that they get, what do they use it for? And a research we did about 2 years ago on police budget showed that, these funds are essentially not properly accounted for. The commanding officer decides how the funds that get to them are utilized. Nobody, of course, I'm sure you also recall that the successive IGPs, up to the time of Idris Bottom, left office with some scandals trailing them over corruption and mismanagement of police funding. So it's a valid point to also say, whereas we are calling for improved funding for the police, we also need to insist on accountability for funds allocated to the police.
Indeed. Let's jump on another next call right now. Good morning to you. Oh, I think we lost that call. We're going to put this up and take another one. Oh, I think we lost that as well. So we're going to come to social media then, because we have comments here that is here. This person says, they said they are enjoying your analysis of, Mr. Nwaguma, they said they're enjoying your analysis of the police situation in Nigeria. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sharif.
Good morning.
Ola calling from Ikoton.
This is who?
Ola calling from Ikoton.
Welcome, Ola. Welcome.
Yes. I might say I'm a policeman, but if my father and my mother is the police, I equally a policeman. I know the problem Nigerian police is facing.
Okay.
Yes. I don't want to go far, Sharif.
Okay.
Which day have you moved? Maybe I just go down now. Maybe you will walk along the road. You see a policeman and there's raining. You see a policeman with rain boot and raincoat that belong to police. I just want to take cousin of that one and know what I'm talking about. The job was so bad to the extent that you pity for the people who do the job. Yes, they cannot protest. I don't know whether that's the reason. I pity my mother, I pity my father. I don't know whether that's the reason. When we are talking about independent, the welfare is bad. Even when they retired, after 35 years, 1.6 million.
Oh my God.
Ask that man now.
Oh my God.
He knows.
Oh
my brother.
God.
Look, nobody will do the job. They to their heart. I don't want to talk. It's many. How many want to talk?
Ola, thank you. Mr. Nwaguma, you heard Ola there talking about his parents, his father and his mother, who were police officers.
Yeah.
And retirements, what did they get?
Yeah. That's a major issue. You see, the truth is that the morale of officers, the police officers have become demoralized. They have, in fact, the aftermath of the NSAS, further demoralized them. And then the fact that today they are being attacked here and there without they are being able to defend themselves. But more importantly, when police officers retire, to get their gratuity, they go through a lot of stress to get them. And when they get them, they don't even get them taxed. They don't get all that they ought to get. It's even worse for officers who die in the course of duty. Their families, those not only are thrown out of the barracks, but also, for those who are living in barracks, but also some of their wives, widows are subjected to all sorts of exploitation in their bid to claim the benefits of their dead, husbands. So those in service, when they see the deals that their colleagues who have retired are going through, it further demoralizes them. And that is why corruption, is high. They therefore want to do whatever they can to get whatever they can while in service, because when they leave service, there's no hope. It is true.
Okay, let's take another call. Good morning to you.
Hello, Mr. Quadri. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
And good morning to the officer there. My name is Peter Mons, calling you from Shomolu.
Welcome, Peter.
I want to ask one question, because I agree with him totally, and the last caller is frustrating. I can tell you that there was a time I was approached by somebody, I may not mention names, I should go to Enugu and get recruited into police force. I refused. In fact, I was telling them that instead of that, I would ride Okada. Why? Because of the ill treatment of the police. And I want to suggest this. If they say no money, and you were saying the other time that states that are not able to pay civil servants, how would they be able to pay the police? Let me tell you that the money that the federal government, the stipend that they are paying to the police now, if the governors will look inward, like he has said, they will pay police beautifully. And the House of Assembly members, our lawmakers, if they can slash their own money, both their salary and allowances, by 20%, and that also should be moved to taking care of the police, because I can't see people standing in the rain, standing under the sun. At night they are on the road, and you are sleeping, snoring at home. Then tomorrow you give them 10 naira, and you want them to work. When I talk about the police, I sympathize with them a lot. So now, can I suggest that if it is possible, that our law, our constitution should be reviewed to make room for protest? That is for police to protest. Because for now, these people know that as they are not protesting, they will be guiding them, they will be protecting them. So if the police can go on protest as well, and nobody should protect the lawmakers, should protect the president, I think they will stand up and do something. If it's possible, I think that should go into constitution. That room should be made for police also to go on protest or on strike.
Right.
Thank you. That's just my point.
Thank you, Peter Amonse, for calling. Mr. Nwaguma, we need to go right now, but before we go, I need you to sum up your opinion in like a minute or two. What's your reaction is on the attacks on police formations in the southeast?
Yeah, the attacks on police formations, and this is happening every day. It's just one way of illustrating the level of poor attention that is paid to the police in terms of equipping them, in terms of providing resources for them to do their work. Today, they are no longer able even to protect themselves. So the implication that this has for public safety, for the rule of law, and so it is a call. It is a wake up call for the federal government and the various state governments to up their games in addressing security and welfare. Because as a matter of fact, the primary purpose of government is security and welfare. Any government that cannot do that has no business staying in office.
Mr. Okechukwu Nwaguma, National Coordinator, Police Reforms in Nigeria, thank you so much for joining us on the Crossfire today.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you. Always a pleasure. So, Lagos, that is our conversation today. A two-part conversation on the Nigerian police. In the first part, you heard the police PRO Muyiwa Adejobi in the state who talked about the events that happened at Iyana and at Lekki Phase 1 yesterday. Spoke extensively, gave out the police control room number here in Lagos State. In the second part, you heard the funding problems that the Nigerian police is bedeviled with and how we can address that. Mr. Okechukwu Nwaguma joined us via the telephone this morning to discuss that. Now, it's time to see who will win 10,000 Naira today. Someone won yesterday, but we couldn't get his detail. I think we'll try and see how we can get across to him so we can make sure we can be sure that we have the correct details, because it happened before. Someone won, we couldn't get his details, and another person sent another fraudulent individual got that money. That happened before. I hope that it won't happen again. We're still considering whether to give the next person that money because we can't verify whether we're going to get the person that indeed won. So let's play just a minute, Lagos. Let's play just a minute.
Are you a salary earner and experiencing salary delays?